Welcome to the Sartin&Sartin podcast. I'm Nick.
What's up, everybody? I'm Brandon. Here at the Sartin&Sartin podcast, we break down and discuss financial deals in sports and relate those deals to financial decisions you make in everyday life.
No matter how old you are, 20, 40, 60, you will take this advice that we're giving you and apply it to your everyday life.
Facts. So it's good, man. What's been on your mind?
Man, just got out of school, had a lot of free time, a lot of downtime, watching a lot of podcasts lately, checking out Twitter.
Okay.
And on the I Am Athlete podcast, they were talking about Shannon, one of the...
Shannon Crowder.
One host on the show was talking about Sierra and Russell Wilson.
I saw that, yeah.
And basically just saying that he doesn't believe that Sierra would be with Russell Wilson if he didn't have the money. And my question to you is it problematic if your partner takes into account your money and while they're dating you?
Okay, that's a good question. I wouldn't say it's problematic, but what I would say is that I think it's important that your partner values, the chief thing that they value about you is also like what you value about yourself. Like I think it's important that whatever is your driving and motivation force in your life, I think it's important that your partner can appreciate that. So going back to Russell Wilson and Sierra, I don't think it's money for them, right? I think she's pretty well off. He's pretty well off. I'm not sure how much money she has, how much money he has, but we get to a certain point, it's like, are you really counting every dollar?
Yeah.
For your partner, at least, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't think that's the driving factor that's why together. What I could see from the outside looking in, who knows? What I could see is like maybe they were both at a point in their lives where being able to raise a family and having a partner was probably their chief ambition. So they were able to get behind that, and that'd be like the common goal and objective that brought them together, right? And I think, but going back to the original question, if it is money, right? Let's say hypothetically you, for example, you're a dude who you take pride in how much money you have, and that getting money purely for the reason of having money is your chief ambition in life, then I think if a woman was with you because of that money, I think that's fine. And I think honestly that would make you feel better, and that would help you and propel you in your career, because you have somebody in your corner who's like, we're going after the same things. And I think when you have somebody like that, particularly as you get older, it helps you professionally. Okay. But on the vice versa, if you're a dude who's like, you're passionate about helping people, hypothetically, right? And you're with a woman who her chief ambition is, obtaining money, then there can be a lot of conflict. And then I think at a certain point, your ability to pursue your passion, which is helping people, may conflict with hers, and then you have to ask yourself, am I really performing at the highest level? You know what I mean?
Got you. So I got two questions for you. I understand those points, make really good sense. So do you think that what your partner finds great about you has to be the same thing that you find great about yourself? Because I feel like in certain cases that it's like, it's very hard because the partner's not you. So, their perspective on things is totally different than yours is. I feel like it's very difficult to ask somebody who's not you to say, okay, I love myself because of this. This is why you should love me also, though. So I feel like in a relationship, that may be kind of difficult to have. My second question to that is also, though, that say if your wife does like you because you're a go-getter, a money maker, you're also human, though. I feel like at the same time, your production is not going to be the same all the time. So I feel like, is it going to be a certain point in your head where it's like, maybe I'm not making as much money. Maybe I'm not bringing as much bread as I used to, grossing as much money. So it's like, does she still love me the same? I feel like it'd be a little insecurity if it's based off just, what your drive is. So I feel like your drive may not always be there for that thing, or maybe you may not be always successful in your drive to get money.
Well, that's the point I'm making. Like for me, money isn't my motivational force. So like if I was with a woman who was just like money, it wouldn't work? It wouldn't work.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying it depends on the person.
Okay.
But for me, my motivational force, like going back to your point, right? I think that's what I'm speaking to. Whatever your motivational force is, although you may slip at times and not be like performing at the highest level, when you have somebody who's like on the same page as you, they're gonna push you and you're gonna appreciate it because that's your motivational force. It'd be different if like they were pushing you in an area that you don't want to go, but you want to go this way. You just may be slipping a little bit. They're gonna push you. So I think that's what helps. And then your first question was, is it important that your partner sees that? I don't think that like it's a situation where you're like, yo, this is why I love myself, you should love me too. I think it's a natural thing. Like I think
authentic.
You just pick it up on people, and that's what makes it click.
Got you. That makes sense. And I agree with you on all those points too. I think a couple things I'd like to add to it. Also, when I first seen the clip and everything that went down, to me it was a no-brainer. Like, no, that's not a problem, because I feel like all this stuff that you're talking about, money, just how you carry yourself, your resume, everything that you do, that's part of your character, that's part of your value. I think in a lot of ways, humans' value is based off what they do. And that's how the world kind of goes. So I think you look at Russell Wilson. If Russell didn't have any money, No, I don't think Sierra would be with them. I mean, if he, there's a certain baseline where it's like, okay, he's making a decent amount, enough money, but if he's a regular guy, Russell Wilson's probably not, with Sierra's probably not with them. Same way to go, Sierra's not famous, Russell Wilson's probably not with them either. See what I'm saying? So I think that it's not a bad thing to say that. I think it's pretty common sense to say that money adds value to your what you do in your character and your your personal life. Also, your achievements add value to what you do, and I think that just goes hand in hand. It's the same thing. Also, I think it's a good thing too, though, because I think it helps people push to be very well versed and kind of broaden their selection of what they do. Not really stuck on one area, but just their whole holistic approach to life. Being making good money, having good jobs, working and doing things like that. It all adds value to that person and character. Mm-hmm. And also, I think that goes to your first impression in life. What you do is like, okay, when I first see Brandon, without speaking to him, I know what he does, what his job is, maybe not much he makes, so to speak, but just the type of person, what he does. Mm-hmm. And I think that kind of gets people like, okay, now I can make not assumptions, but like this, I know a little bit about Brandon and what he does. I
feel you on that. I mean, but I think going back to, I see what you're saying. Like, it makes sense. Like, yeah, obviously, achieving things is definitely something, or how much what you're doing in life, what you accomplish, where you're at in life, definitely is a factor. Everybody considers when they're dating. Yeah. I think though the point that Crowder was trying to make was that, I think once you get older, it's important that that people are with you for the reasons that you take pride in, because. The reason why I think it's important is because as you get older, you're isolated. Like right now, you may be getting support from a lot of different people because you're around your friends a lot. You play football, you have teammates, you have classmates, you're around, thousands of people on campus. Like you have a lot of interaction with people who are like-minded, who can like pour into you, things like that. Once you get older, it's kind of like you go to work and you come home and you find time in your social life to like meet people. But other than that, you're around coworkers most of the time. So unless you have somebody in the corner who you're dating or friends or whatever case may be, which you see your friends, less frequently when you're older, it's like you might start to seek that validation in other places. And I think that's what messes you up. Okay,
so question you then. So how do you personally, maneuver in these situations, and if somebody that you're talking to values money, when they're viewing you, how do you personally, maneuver through that?
Well, I'm at a point now where everything for me is all about compatibility. So like, if it's not compatibility, we're not compatible, we're moving on. But and then there's no shade to them. Whatever is your thing, that's your thing. I know what my thing is, and that's just kind of how I'm moving with it. But I think it is important, and also I think think about yourself. Think about it now when you're talking to a girl, like subconsciously, maybe even when somebody like appreciates the thing in you that you appreciate about yourself, you like them more. Yeah. Subconsciously, maybe like, what do you think about that? Like, how do you feel now if like a girl is just like off rip asking you, what's your major? What are you doing this summer? What's your
plans in life?
How do you feel about that? Does it turn you off?
No, it's not authentic. You know what I'm saying? Well, it is authentic because kind of just my point. I think it is authentic. I think that adds value to you. Yeah. But also, I think that just knowing the person and just outside of all that, what they really want to do and everything like that, I think that's also very important. I think that's a little bit more of a more of a vulnerable side, I guess you would say. So it kind of makes you you appreciate it more. I do agree on that.
So it sounds like you're saying it should be a factor. It shouldn't be the factor.
It shouldn't be the factor, but I also think though that right now in the society we live in, to say that's a main factor, I don't think that's crazy to say. No, I don't think that's crazy. I don't think that's the best relationship, but also I think in reality, I think that people talk to certain people based off their value, and their value details through the whole list of how much you make and what you do. And I don't think that's a great thing, but I think that's the reality, of how it goes. So if you're in this type of spaces and you see somebody who's not with you for the money, right, and you're moving up this corporate ladder, or moving up the business world, do you think not for you the money, but that's not a factor at all? Do you think they'll be able to help you out in these spaces when you have to go to different places? Last week we went to a country club, right? Do you think bringing people to events who don't really have that type of mindset, or that's not really in their decision making at all, is it kind of hard to bring them up through the ladder as you're working?
Yeah, that's a good point too. It's like people you meet when you're younger, when you may not be as successful, and then as you're climbing that ladder, if they don't have that same motivation to climb that ladder, once you get to where you're going, they may not know how to navigate those spaces with you. And that's a good point too. And so when you're speaking about people who are assessing you for your professional accomplishments, sometimes it's not a bad thing, because that person who is assessing you for your professional accomplishments, they are motivated to achieve professionally themselves. So you can have a partner who can not only support you in your not only is going to, appreciate your professional growth, but support you and be able to help, propel you when y'all are in those spaces. So yeah, I agree. And somebody who may not have a motivational or that may not be the motivational factor, they get in that space, they may make you look worse. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
It's a lot to consider. I just think that ultimately the question should be, what do I love about myself? Does that person appreciate that? And if so, if they appreciate that, they support me in that, then it can work. I think everything else, I think it's just like ancillary. It's extra stuff.
Yeah, to recap, I agree with you. I also think that, being authentic, they love what you love about yourself. That helps. Also, it shouldn't be the whole reason they're with you, but if it's a factor, that's realistic and that's not a problem. I also think it helps add value, and I think it helps, with a first impression. So I think it's not a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing.
Agreed.
Man, appreciate y'all watching the Sartin&Sartin podcast. Thanks for getting back with us. Please like, follow, subscribe.